What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I will be ranking the top 10 best non-conference games in the 2020 college football season. Now, this 2020 season features a lot of intriguing and interesting matchups, and I couldn't fit them all into this list, and this is why it'd really be a shame if this season got canceled. Anyways, I'm going to start with some honorable mentions, as these are intriguing games, but just weren't as good as the top 10. First, we have Wisconsin versus App State. App State's had two really good years these past 2 years, ranked in the AP poll, winning bowl games. They had 12 wins. Wisconsin coming off a 10-4 season and a Rose Bowl loss, so that could be an interesting game. We have Minnesota coming off an 11-2 season, playing BYU. That should be an intriguing game between these two teams. And we have Michigan State versus Miami. These are two teams that are, one I think is trending down while the other is trending up. I think Miami is on an upwards projection with De'Aaron King, and Michigan State is kind of on a downwards projection, so it'll be cool to see these two teams play. And then we have Florida State and Boise State, a rematch of last year's game where Boise State had a great comeback in Florida State's home stadium. So this will be intriguing to see how these two teams play I believe this is in Boise State. And opening the season, UCF plays UNC. Now UNC has a lot of hype coming into this season. Sam Howell, and then of course UCF has been good these past 2 seasons. And so now that we've gotten the honorable mentions out of the way, we are going to start ranking the top 10 non-conference games in the 2020 college football season. At number 10, we have University of Virginia playing University of Georgia. Now Virginia is coming off that big year for them. They did lose in their New Year's Six bowl game and got creamed by Clemson in the ACC championship, but beating Virginia Tech was a huge for their fan base and for that program, and making to the ACC championship was big for them. And that being said, though, they're playing this game in Atlanta. It's the Chick-fil-A kickoff game between ACC SEC. I don't see UVA really being close in this game. I think Georgia will take care of it, but that's just a fun game between two teams in two big conferences, just for conference bragging rights. It'll be fun. And then at number 9, also, same stadium. Also, it's a Chick-fil-A kickoff game, which I didn't know there was 2 of them, so I'm a little confused on that aspect. But we have University of North Carolina playing Auburn. We have 2 relatively young quarterbacks coming into their second years, both of them Sam Howell going off against Bo Nix. This should be interesting. Both teams have a lot of hype coming into the season, and Mac Brown has really picked up the recruiting in North Carolina. At number 8, we have Bama versus USC. This game is going to be played in Dallas, Texas. Obviously, Bama loses Tagovailoa. We're going to get to see what Mac Jones can do. He's going to have been having starting reps for a long time now. He already has some experience under his belt. And then we go against USC. USC ended the season strong, and they have pretty high expectations this year. At number 7, we have Penn State heading into Virginia Tech. This game is going to be in Lane Stadium. Should be a very interesting game. I'm expecting a great atmosphere. Well, it probably won't be because of COVID-19, but there would be. This is the first time these two programs have faced off against each other. Penn State will probably be a top 10 team coming into this game, and Virginia Tech will put up a good fight. I'm sure of that, especially at home. So that should be a fun one. At number 6, we have Oklahoma hosting Tennessee. This is from a home-and-home series that these two scheduled. I believe they played in 2015 when Baker Mayfield led a comeback against the Tennessee Wolf Volunteers. So this should be fun. Tennessee is really on an upwards projection. Got to 8 wins last year, and they look to improve on that in 2020. And at number 5, we have Michigan going on the road to Washington. This is just 2 big programs that have been doing well. It'll be huge for either of both these conferences, just for bragging rights, and really it's more important, I think, for the Pac-12, because the Pac-12 doesn't have a lot of opportunities to show themselves, and typically they haven't been able to capitalize, but they have some opportunities this year in 2020 with USC playing Bama, and then Washington playing Michigan, and one more that we will mention later on. And at number 4, we have the rematch of last year's Texas versus LSU. This game will be at LSU. This was a fun one. A lot of jawing in this game. A lot of who's DBU. So this was really a fun game, and this was last year the game where Joe Burrow really emerged, and it was starting to be something more than just a system quarterback, and you could tell LSU was something special. And Texas looks to get their revenge this year, so that'll be a fun one. And at number 3, we have Wisconsin playing Notre Dame at Lambeau Field. This is very intriguing. Wisconsin hosted or played LSU in Lambeau Field back in 2015 or 2016. Wisconsin upset the number 5 team in the country. I expect Notre Dame to have more fans there. It won't be a total home game for Wisconsin because Notre Dame fans do travel well. But nonetheless, this should be a fun one as one of Notre Dame's 2 tough games. And then, obviously, one of their other ones, their toughest game, I think, is going to be number 2 on the list, is when they host Clemson. Now, this is a big-time game. If Notre Dame wants to have any shot at the playoffs, they are going to have to win this game because Notre Dame's schedule, I don't think they can make it in at 11-1 without beating Clemson. Because with no conference championship, it's going to be hard to put a non-undefeated independent into the college football playoffs. And at number 1, we have Ohio State heading into Oregon. And this is a huge game. We have Ohio State 13-1 in 2019, Big Ten champs, against the Oregon Ducks, who in 2019 went 12-2, won the Pac-12 championship, and won the Rose Bowl. And this is a huge game for Oregon in the Pac-12 because if Oregon wants to make it to the college football playoffs, they have to win this game because the Pac-12 road is just not hard enough. And that concludes our rankings of the top 10 best non-conference games in the 2020 college football season. One thing I want to mention is we did not add USC versus Notre Dame because although it is a non-conference game for USC, Notre Dame is an independent and they play each other every year, so it's essentially a conference game. It's not a conference against conference as Notre Dame's independent. So like we could have put any Notre Dame game on here because since they're independent and it's technically not a conference game, but we didn't want to do that because they play every year and we're trying to focus on games that you don't get to see every year. And with that being said, please leave a like and subscribe and comment down below what games we missed or what order you think you would put these games in. And thank you for watching. Please subscribe.